I'm a little bit fragile.
Yeah.
I'm being insulted badly on the internet.
Yeah. I saw a few of those tweets aimed at you. Big Mbappe fans out there.
I can't believe it.
Strange, isn't it?
Do you know sometimes in our line of work, Booth, I think that we would both conform to this. Occasionally we do say things that we know are likely to have an impact.
Yeah.
In this example, I honestly didn't. All I said was Kylian Mbappe is not the best footballer in the world. That's the most sanitised way that I could possibly position it. I didn't say X is the best footballer in the world. I didn't say X, Y, and Z are better than Mbappe. I literally just said Kylian Mbappe, in my opinion, is not the best footballer in the world. And it has gone mad.
It's gone mad, isn't it?
Like the man is just across all of the headlines entirely here, isn't he? Like
It's crazy.
Kylian Mbappe. Do you think he's actually going to go to Al Hilal?
I think he's put himself in a position where he might have to. I think if you're a footballer, I think I'd rather play for 700 million quid salaries, which is absolutely crazy to say that. Actually play some football for 12 months. There's a Euros coming around the corner that he'll be desperate to win for France. Or he might sit on the bench and waste away at PSG and not play any football at PSG, which is an awful situation. His kind of boyhood club. Obviously, he's from Paris originally. I think he's put himself in an awful position. Very keen to hear more about your comments about Mbappe. He's certainly top 5 in the world. We can both agree very easily. I think the comments where me and you are so aligned, it's unbelievable because I don't think he's miles ahead of anyone else. There is a world you could sit here next to me and say, yeah, I think Mbappe is the best player in the world. He scored a hat-trick in the World Cup final. He's been ever present for PSG. His goal record in the Champions League is fantastic. But then there's a world where you say, is he much better than De Bruyne, much better than Vinicius, much better than Haaland?
No.
I don't. I think there's 5 or 6 in that kind of category.
Also, Buvey, I mean, this won't be popular, but to be totally frank with you, I find it very difficult to anoint someone as the best footballer in the world when they've only played in France. I don't mean that to be sneery. I don't want it to sound disrespectful because I think anybody that's ever watched any of our content before knows that I do acknowledge the pedigree of the French league. More so, in fact, than a lot of people who we work with. More so, in fact,
More than me.
Yeah, potentially so, in fact.
Way more, yeah.
I do think that the French league is good, but I don't think that you can have played your entire career in France, the majority of your entire career for the best team in France, and then claim to be the best footballer in the world. I just don't think it's possible. When you look at the arduous nature of the Premier League, the arduous nature, even Serie A, even La Liga, like, I don't think that doing it consistently in France is enough. And people constantly then will tell me, the World Cup, the World Cup, the World Cup. And you're like, okay, firstly, the World Cup, the international tournament football like that, the standard of football isn't as good as the standard of football in La Liga.
For me, it's important. We've had debates about Messi's, even Harry Maguire's kind of performances in the last few years. I think it's a symbolic thing for football. I think it is important. But that being said, it isn't the Champions League.
No, it isn't.
It's not.
Well, also when you look at teams if you look at the team that won the tournament, right? Like Romero's in that team. Otamendi's in that team.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a fantastic achievement.
Yes,
but it's not. It's less than the Premier League. It's less than maybe the FA Cup, the Champions League in terms of pure sporting achievement.
Yes.
The significance obviously outweighs probably all of them in terms of the global aspect to it. And he is fantastic. He's one of the highest scorers already in the competition.
But he also
history.
plays for France.
Yeah.
Who are the best team?
Kante behind him, Pogba behind him.
It's
everyone.
also playing for France. So when he's representing France and they're playing against Australia or whatever it is, yeah, okay, great. But of course they beat them. You know, of course they do. So I don't really see it. And the other thing is, lots of people seem to be basing their belief that Kylian Mbappe is the best player in the world on the World Cup. In his entire life, he's played, 14 games in the World Cup?
Yeah.
Which is a lot, of course. But
6 of them group stages.
You can't call a player the best player in the world on the back of 14.
No, it needs to be that and the Champions League for me. It needs to be that and the Champions League.
Never won a Ballon d'Or.
He's not won the Ballon d'Or yet, and he's nowhere near close for this year. No. Because he's wasted away in a league. I think he's put himself in this position. When he left Monaco, of course, when PSG come calling, the name, the allure, the kind of the amount of people they were going after was significant. He is from Paris. But I think someone who was really smart around him should have said, in a few years, you're going to be wanting to go to Real Madrid. You're going to be tied to a club that will do everything they can to keep you for kind of political PR reasons. And now he's spent 4 or 5 years in the French league, like you said. I don't think he's kicked on in 4 or 5 years. And people have been slagging me off on Twitter too. Honestly, because he played against Man City for Monaco. He was electric. He scored an unbelievable goal into the roof of the net. I mean, some of the quality, I've never seen anything like it. And he was 17, 18 years old. He's still that player. I'm not saying he's worse. I said it on Twitter. I'm not saying he's worse. Is he much better? I think he's plateaued. Now, if he'd spent the last 5 years in the Premier League, wow, we're talking about one of the greats to ever play the game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And we don't know that yet. He's still a little bit premature in his development because he's played against Lyon.
Yeah.
Beating them 10-0 every week. That's the reality.
Do you know how, as things stand, Paris Saint-Germain have accepted a £259 million bid from Al Hilal. Do you think that Kylian Mbappe is actually going to go and earn 700 million quid a year in Saudi Arabia? I do. From my understanding of Mbappe, who are we to sort of gauge his interest in the offer? We don't know anything about him, really. I don't think he wants to take the offer. I think there are someone like Ruben Neves, for example, an average Premier League midfielder. He saw the money, desperate to go. Koulibaly, Mendy, etc. I don't think Mbappe sees himself in that light. He sees himself as a Michael Jordan type, as a Messi, a Ronaldo type, a big figure in the sport. I think he compares himself to Erling Haaland. It's those two leading the kind of the light for football at the moment. So I don't think he wants to go. But as I said earlier, I don't think he'll get to the position where there'll be £700 million worth of wages on the table for 1 year. He'll play in a semi-competitive league. 9 months.
9 months.
9 months.
Really,
really
9 months with a bit of pre-season. International breaks in between where he'll get to play with the best with France in Euros qualifiers. And then he'll say, well, do I want to sit on the bench at PSG? You've got the fans kicking off and the ownership and all the political kind of drama there.
But you can't, as a professional footballer, if his ambition is to be the best, if his ambition is to win Ballon d'Ors, win European Cups, win league titles, you're at your best as a footballer, if we're really generous, for a decade?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
So, and obviously when I say a decade, what I mean is 10 seasons. Can you spend one of those, so 10% of your peak years, in a league? No.
If you ask Roger Federer, if you ask Tiger Woods, would you play in the Saudi Arabian tennis league, the golf league, in their prime? They would have. These guys would play for free. Roger Federer would win Wimbledon
for free
5 times in a row, like he did, or 4 times in a row. He'd do it for free because of the love of the sport.
Do you believe that, though? Do you actually believe that?
I do. In their pomp. I'm not talking about even Andy Murray coming through. Tim, all these average tennis players or semi-average, but Mbappe he's the 1% of the 1%.
Yeah.
He should be looking at how much can I get 5, 6, 7 Ballon d'Ors. Not about 700 million quid in the bank. He already earns 70 million a year. He's one of the highest paid players in the world.
That's true,
already.
Booth. But you know if the figure that was initially touted, which I don't believe can be true, but if it is, where they were on about 700 million, I would say in the entire world, everybody, not sports people, everybody, the whole world, there are 4 people in the whole world who can turn that down.
Yeah,
and one of them is like Elon Musk, and the other one is the
billionaires
baldy,
already.
Yeah, the baldy who
Jeff
loves
Bezos.
books delivered to your house and that. Yeah, like there's 4 people in the entire world, and then you probably go Obama.
Yeah, but do you know what? Yeah, the way you said that, you're bang on. But then, who are those people? They are the elite of the elite billionaires, right? And the elite of the elite sportsmen don't take that offer either, because I'm not Roger Federer. There's not hundreds of thousands of Roger Federers out here, or Michael Jordans. There aren't. And Mbappe, if he sees himself in that light, I actually debate if he could ever be a Michael Jordan type. I don't think he will be Ronaldo or Messi. I don't think he is. I think he's one of the best players of a generation where the standard of football is slightly less than it used to be, in my opinion. So there's a world he takes it, because do you want to sit on the bench and have, don't forget, I mean, Saudi Arabia and Qatar have massive political kind of rivalry anyway. Saudi Arabia going for their own World Cup in 2030. So if he sits on the bench for Qatari-owned PSG, that's not great for him, kind of how his outlook politically as well. It's not a good look for him PR-wise. His best bet is hoping that Real Madrid look at it and think, can we pay 115 now? We're going to have to pay 100 million plus in terms of the initial signing on fee to get him for free next summer.
Yeah.
Might have to compete with a Qatari-backed Man United. Might have to compete with Man City. Weirdly, might get interested next summer. What if Chelsea?
Tottenham are interested.
Tottenham have bid.
Yeah, Tottenham are keen. They're really keen on him.
I'm keen on Margot Robbie. She's fantastic in Barbie. But it's weird, isn't it? So I think
Never heard Barbie said in a West Country accent before. It's a completely different word.
Yeah. Barbie drinks cider down West Country. Thatcher's gold. But the point of the matter is, I think he's backed himself into a corner because he left Monaco. He was very young. I get it. And now he's at a club that's still in a dead league.
So, do you think that he goes to Al Hilal for a year, presumably wins the league, plays up front with Mitrovic, and then goes to Real Madrid? Because there's no guarantees in life, are there? Like, if you're £700 million richer, do you then want to go to Real Madrid? Do you still have the burning desire? Do you then think, I'll tell you what, I'll do another year here? I just don't know how this can work out. It's crazy, isn't it? The conversations, the disruption that this Saudi league is causing. And when I say disruption, there are positive connotations to the word disruption. I just mean the impact. It's actually amazing, isn't it? Like we're talking now about one of the best footballers in the world leaving competitive football, or at least competitive football that we recognised prior to this.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And I'm not sat here saying Saudi Arabia shouldn't have a league or anything. I just don't get the principle of the money they're spending. It's worth it for a 5, 6, 7 year outlay. It's worth it for Ronaldo because of the imagery of Ronaldo. For 1 year for Mbappe, they're getting rinsed.
Mbappe, no, they're not. I don't think.
I think they are.
Do you
for
not think
a billion quid total.
Okay, they're being rinsed, but they're being rinsed by everybody. Like the wages and everything. Like they were going to be rinsed by Zaha. Do you know? Like they're rinsed by the people are going there for the money, and therefore they get rinsed. But remember, they have a lot of money.
A billion's different. That's GDP levels, isn't it? That's mental.
If they take a player like Mbappe, I think what that will do is it changes the perception of that league altogether. Suddenly, it isn't what we thought of it as. You and I have had this conversation on this very show, in fact. You've, at points, kind of likened it to the States or whatever. The States never took a player in their prime from this continent. They do that.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing that could then happen is, who follows? Do you know, if Mbappe's there, what happens next year? Vinicius Junior's off. It's wild, isn't it?
Crazy. It's like the Truman Show. It's not reality. It's not reality.